Yeah, I started because I was listening to a bunch of podcasts, mostly Bigger Pockets, and that is mostly US. And then there was a lot of guys coming on the podcast, which is fine. I have nothing against that. I just wanted to hear from like a female perspective.
Right.
And I wanted to hear something more Canadian based. So I started Cashflow Queens. I actually had that name picked out so long ago, but I didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah, because for sure, I mean, when people say they invest in Toronto, it's not really investing when you're losing money.
Like that's why I said like no shame. Like I just wanted to focus on a niche, and I'm also like counter my own generation. Like I feel like right now there's too much cancel culture and all these things.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna say things that aren't true. Like I've always felt included. I've never felt like overly intimidated by whatever. Like it's not the case. Everyone's been pretty nice, open, inclusive. So
right. Welcome to the Little Did You Know podcast. My name is Morgan Little. Big shout out to Alexandra Tejeda for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it. Thank you for being here, Alexandra Tejeda. Tejeda.
Yeah.
Oh, I added an R in there. Realtor, aspiring real estate investor, podcast host of the Cashflow Queens. Love the name, by the way. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Maybe come a little closer there or pull it closer. So yeah, let's get started. So you have been a realtor for just about 2 years now, just over 2 years?
Yes. So just over 2 years now. I mostly work with like real estate investors or first time home buyers. And my mom has been in the industry for a long time too. Cool. So I did have an idea of what I was getting into, but yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And what brought you into it? Why?
Money.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie, because that's, I think like people lie. They're like, oh, money. Money was my main goal. But then as I kind of got more into real estate, what I really loved was systems. Like I love like the client journey. Like I'm always trying to like have a really great like attention to detail and just make that like the best possible thing ever. So yeah, but definitely it was money. And then I just I started really loving the whole process. Yeah.
So leading with what you just said, you know, the attention to detail and attention to the process, I think that in itself, you leading with that is going to, you know, end up in success over time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So good for you for that.
Thank you.
And I've noticed the attention to detail. We'll get into your podcast, Cashflow Queens, the fact that you do it all yourself. It's very well put together. And you know, so again, I see that attention to detail, but, what were you doing before real estate?
So yeah, I've never worked like a 9 to 5 or anything like that. I've always been entrepreneurial, I guess. But I was serving, I did the typical thing that everybody makes fun of: server, bottle service, into personal trainer, into real estate. That's what everybody makes fun of. I know it's the classic thing, but those skills really do transfer over. For sure. Yeah, that was kind of just a natural transition. Okay.
And was it COVID that pushed you into it, or was it part of a plan, or what was like the kind of straw that?
Yeah. My mom was always pushing me to do it. I'm glad that I waited till I was kind of fed up with personal training at the time. During COVID, I started my own business with personal training, which was really good because I was working at Good Life. And then I kind of started my own thing online, and I had a business coach and they would help me with calls. So that naturally transferred over. But yeah, I just got kind of sick of it. I was on Zoom. I was doing workouts. It was making me not motivated to go to the gym, and I love the gym. So then I got my license. I think like everybody else did in COVID. Right. So that's what I did. Yeah.
For sure. And do you work with your mom?
No.
Okay. I asked her if there was anything off limits to talk about. Maybe we just found one.
Yeah, no. Love her from a distance. We cannot work together. We would kill each other. But she's taught me a lot for sure about real estate.
Awesome. I was going to say, has she been able to be a bit of a mentor, even though you're not necessarily working together?
Yes, totally. Yeah. Like I think that gave me a leg up, just being like my first year in real estate. I was starting like a virtual office for other new agents. Like I was helping new agents in my first year. Okay. And again, I think it just comes back to attention to detail, but my mom is also really good with that, with like her organizational skills. Mm-hmm. So. Okay.
And so we met at one of Corey McKinnon's events, which was awesome. Yeah. Love that group. And so obviously you have an interest in real estate investing as well.
Yes.
That's why you started the podcast, I'm assuming, to kind of, you know, be able to connect with other investors, learn from them, get that kind of like, take a course from all these different
Yeah.
investors without actually having to go and do that, which is very cool. And
Yeah.
is that why you started it?
Yeah, I started because I was listening to a bunch of podcasts, mostly Bigger Pockets, and that is mostly US. And then there was a lot of guys coming on the podcast, which is fine. I have nothing against that. I just wanted to hear from like a female perspective.
Right.
And I wanted to hear something more Canadian based. So I started Cashflow Queens. I actually had that name picked out so long ago, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And then, and then I started that. And then I've been able to ask questions that I want to ask and just learn so much from these ladies as well. So it's been really good.
Yeah, it's a cool name. So there's no man on the podcast.
No.
Okay.
And I've had people reach out. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. I'm not like, no shame. It's just kind of like the niche or whatever.
Yeah. Of course. And so in terms of doing it all yourself, like, how much of a challenge is that?
Oh my God, so much of a challenge, but it's also my fault because I am like a control freak and I don't like delegating anything. So I've delegated things before and I can't, I'm also probably difficult to work with. I'm not going to lie. Like I'm very picky. So yeah, I do everything myself. I do like the long form video, the short form video. I tried hiring out the reels, but it wasn't up to my standards. And then I do everything, like write the script, everything, invite the people, manage it. So yeah, it's crazy. It takes me like a full day to edit the podcast.
Well, I feel like I know a service that offers that. Shameless plug, keep me posted. Okay. But yeah, no, I get it. I'm kind of the same thinking in general. And so delegation is something that's like, I'm actively working towards doing because especially in real estate, we talked briefly before we started about building a team. And so we can get into that a little bit, but tell me what are like the biggest takeaways from the podcast?
Like in terms of managing the whole thing?
No, from like what you've learned.
I've learned so much.
Yeah.
I just love like all the different people I've been able to have on and how they just say yes to me. So thank you everybody who's come on my podcast. But like from paralegals to other realtors to investors, I've learned a lot. Like I don't even know, but it's also maybe the best thing I've learned is just the fact that I now feel like I can do it. Before maybe it was more of like, it's going to be so hard to get my first property, but now talking to people who have done it, it seems a lot more like feasible. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that because I saw some of your videos with your goals of when to get your first property. Yeah. What's holding you back? Or why haven't you actually pulled the trigger yet?
Money's holding me back. Yeah. So definitely money. Also, it's my second year in real estate. So you have to make money on paper for like 2 years, show what you're making kind of thing. Sure. So I don't know. I've been working on my credit, saving up more money, as well as looking like I make money on paper. So that's pretty much it. I do have already a co-signer in mind. Like it will happen, especially before I'm 30. That is my goal, just to have at least one property. But right now it's just kind of saving up more basically. Right.
And so what about using joint ventures?
Yes. Yeah. So I've gone down that route as well. Again, I'm picky. Like, I don't know. So it could be me holding myself back. Right now it's probably like my boyfriend who would be my co-signer, just somebody like I trust. Yep. But I guess with the joint venture, you just have to have like a really great contract. So
I mean, it's, you've seen some of these communities, you're talking to all these investors. So, these partnerships happen all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But you're right. You do need to find the right partner. I'm making a video this week about a joint venture partnership that didn't go so well.
Yeah, that's what scares me.
So it happens, but I chalk it up to a learning experience. Yeah. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't necessarily explore that option or be on the lookout for those types of people, those conversations. It's one of those things is if you're putting it out there, if you're having those conversations, you're more likely to find somebody who would be a good fit as opposed to saying, I don't know, that's scary. I don't know if I can do that. Yeah. Then it'll never happen. It's guaranteed to not happen. Yeah. But I just figured since having all these investor conversations that you're having that there must have been some conversations regarding partnerships, joint ventures, stuff like that, just to open up the possibility for yourself.
Yeah, there has been, but mostly they want it like now they're kind of past like duplexes and triplexes and they want to move to like buildings and that I want to start a little bit small just so I like understand the foundations. So but no, I've definitely made a lot of great connections. JV is a possibility. I just don't know right now.
And it's not as easy as it seems. Everyone makes it sound as I'm making it sound right now as well is because a lot of these people are also active investors. So they aren't going to be your JVs. You need to find high net worth people, or not even necessarily that high net worth, but people who have money sitting in an RSP or sitting in account who, you know, have a decent job, have the income, can qualify, but don't know where to put their money, especially with inflation the way it is. So those are the people to really connect with, which is, it's not that easy. It's not it's not that easy to just call up aunts and uncles and friends to be like, hey, you know, so it's nurturing those conversations and letting people know what you're doing, I think. Right. And, and I'm part of Wealth Genius, which a big part of it is getting out there and doing walkthroughs, right? And showing people that you're actively out there doing stuff. And that will help you attract that money, because you're going to call calls from people who have that money sitting there saying, hey, I saw you doing, you know, this walkthrough and that walkthrough. What's that all about? How can I get involved? Stuff like that.
Yeah. And having the right deals too, for sure. Yeah. No,
the deal is everything for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always looking for deals, but
Well, that's one cool piece I like about your content. I saw you did it live with Carolina on your podcast, and I've seen you do some of your reels as well, where you break down deals. So that's really cool. What made you start doing that?
I don't know, but I think it's really cool. It's kind of funny because like I work with some investors, but mostly like first time home buyers. I kind of look at everybody as an investor, but I don't know. It's more of like my own interest than maybe who actually my clients are. But yeah, with Carolina, that was awesome. Just going over all the numbers. And I just think it's super cool. Like just looking at real estate, like as an investment instead of just like a principal residence or something. Like there's so much flexibility that you have. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, her and Brandon, right? They're a powerhouse.
Oh my God. Yeah, and so smart. Yeah. And she came to, I think like she just had her baby like 2 weeks before coming onto my podcast. I'm like, you are crazy. Yeah. So she's great.
Awesome. And so everyone's been really receptive as you reach out to them to come on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And now because I'm like on my 20-ish episode, I'm able to get a little bit more traction. So it's good.
For sure.
Everyone's been super receptive. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. And I saw there was 2 women on there. They have I don't remember the name of it, Women's Investor Network or something along those lines.
Yes. Fempower and Wink. Yeah. And that's like Ala and Bina.
Okay. Yeah. So do you know Monique?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I saw her posting about Wink as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I've asked her to come on the podcast too, but I have a lot of people coming on for the new year. So
cool. So you are keeping it going then?
I am. I might play around with some different things. Like I might do, cause like I said, it's hard to coordinate. I told you it was hard to coordinate, and then I was super annoying to coordinate with. So there you go. But
you came all the way out to Bowmanville, so I appreciate it.
But it can be hard to coordinate. So that's the only thing. So I'd probably do like some guest speaker stuff, and then also some things alone. Solo. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you're doing some solo episodes?
I think so. I want to do like basically probably market stats or something of that nature. I just haven't figured out how to make it fun yet. But yeah. Cool. What podcasts you mentioned Bigger Pockets? Was there any other podcasts you took inspiration from? It's mainly Bigger Pockets podcast. But then once I started Cashflow Queens, and I realized like there are a lot of Canadian podcasts as well. I like Tom Story. Tom Story is a good one too. Tom Story's great. Yeah, he's funny. And then Where Should I Invest? I think it's Sarah Larby. That's a good one too.
Yes.
Yeah. So I found out more once I started the podcast. For sure.
Cool. And did you have Mandy? Did I see you had Mandy on there?
Yes, I had Mandy, and she's a part of Wealth Genius.
Right? Yeah. I thought I saw a clip, but then I didn't see the episode when I was looking. But I plan to have her on as well. She's great. Tons of energy. She's great. Exactly. She was just hosting a Wealth Genius event in Sudbury. I grew up in Sudbury, so I sent my friend's son and his 2 friends. I sent them tickets to go. Oh, nice. They're like 17 and invest now. And I was like, I love that they were into it. And then she called me after and was like, those guys are amazing. Like so cool that you sent them. They were really into it. And so it's really cool. So yeah, I just kind of went off on a tangent there, but you gotta get her on. She's great. For sure. Yeah. So in terms of becoming an investor, you're going to conferences. Are you reading any books? Or? I read a ton of books, ton of conferences. My goal last year was to go to like 10 conferences, 26 books. I read like 20 books and went to all the conferences. This year I haven't been as active, but I'm always reading books, always learning more. And I'm always like looking on Treb or the MLS and just like breaking down deals just to get used to the numbers. For sure. Because I think that's important. Just doing your own research. I have buyers come to me all the time. Maybe they're first time home buyers, not necessarily investors, but they're like, oh, I'm a year out. Like,
I'll talk to you when I'm like 3 months out. I'm like, no, a year is like a healthy timeline because you need to do a lot of your own research and talk to
and a
mortgage
year
lenders
quickly
and-
turns into like 3 to 6 months once they start looking at properties.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. And so I saw you talking about not bleaching your hair or not doing your nails, still getting Starbucks.
No,
but
this is Tim's.
oh, okay.
And this was free.
Oh, that's
was
Tim's.
free.
Okay.
Yeah.
They made their cups look like Starbucks.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. I thought that was Starbucks.
No,
free.
Tim's.
Okay,
$2.
fair enough. So is this all in the interest of saving
Yes.
and getting prepared for that?
Yes, and it has helped me a lot. I moved out of my condo, which sucked. I had to move back home. Sucked even more. Like I've been out of the house since I was like 18, so this sucks. But I really desperately want that property. Didn't bleach my hair anymore, so I had to go back to brown because that was like a $400 upkeep every couple months. No more nails, and it has helped me a lot with my credit and my savings. So yeah, it's just it takes a time, like it's like a little snowball effect, but it's happening. It will happen.
No, I think that's smart, especially now. You know, like people, we're in for a rough like couple years, I think, right? And so a lot of people should be looking for ways that they can cut back, and so it's you took some pretty drastic measures, but there are small things that you can really do to kind of cut back on costs.
Yeah, for sure. And I can see it clearer now. Like I have such a big goal of buying an investment property, and it will happen before I'm 30. But I can see it better now by cutting back on those things.
And what kind of property would you like?
I always tell my clients who want to buy right away in Toronto and don't have the means, like I always say, I'm going to work my way back to Toronto. Like maybe I'll start in Niagara and like a multifamily or something, something with like an easy cosmetic renovation, multiple units, and then just pull from there.
Yeah. How many units?
I don't know. Maybe a duplex, like a fourplex if I can, but maybe a duplex, triplex, something like that.
Are you like willing to house hack and live in one of the units?
For sure.
So you would move out to Niagara or wherever.
I'll do whatever it takes.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
That's good. I appreciate the commitment to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because for sure, I mean, when people say they invest in Toronto, it's not really investing when you're losing money. Like investment properties are in Toronto don't really exist because you're never going to be positive cash flow.
Yes, but appreciation is good.
For sure.
Have a low vacancy rate. Like there are things that I like. And then condos, like you're mostly investing in condos, which I do like because there's less maintenance. Yeah. But you're not cash flowing.
For sure. And actually right now is a good time to buy a condo. The condo market is inventory has gone up. I mean, investors are selling. So, it tells you that they bought potentially at the wrong time, but it could create opportunity for other people.
I like condos. Everybody hates me when I say I like condos, but I don't think they're a horrible investment. And there's some things that I don't want to deal with either with like a house, in terms of like a crumbling foundation or like a roof. Like those are things you don't have to deal with. But
well, fair. In an aspect you do have to deal with it. If he needs a new roof, then the owners are going to pay for it.
And you don't have as much control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're not going to have to put out the full amount for it. I just like multifamily, at least just 2 units versus 1.
Yeah.
Because,
But then parking in a locker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can rent that out.
I'm always looking for like some sort of flexibility.
Yeah, for sure. And the way things are going now, you could rent out the locker as a bedroom.
Oh God. But parking is like $250, $300. Like that's a lot in Toronto.
That one parking spot, I think it was this year, sold for $160,000 or something just for a parking spot.
For sure.
It's crazy.
My studio that I moved out of, I rented for $1,300 during COVID, and then I moved out like 2 years later, and it was $2,200.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, we had Isaiah Henry on here, and he invests in Timmins. And so I see he sent out a deal yesterday, single family home for $130,000. That parking spot costs more than an actual home. Yeah. Which is crazy. Yeah. But that's Toronto for sure.
Yeah.
So you talked about personal training and stuff before, and it looked like you were on your way to compete in a fitness competition. And tell us about that.
So I got into that. That was during COVID when I started my online business for personal training. I started a YouTube channel, just documenting my fitness journey. And that's how I got a lot of my sales calls. And I closed every single one of them because they felt like they know, liked, and trust me through those videos. And And then, yeah, so I got close to stage, and then the show got canceled because of COVID. And then it was just so hard to get back into the mindset. So I have my suit, I have everything, but I'm talking to actually a coach now because I want to start again.
Cool.
But it'll probably take about a year to actually reach stage. But I've always wanted to do it. It's like another one of my big goals because I just love like the mindset that it takes. Like it's insane. So
for sure. Yeah. And so tell us about that journey getting prepped, and how long was it? What did you have to do?
So at that point I feel like I was a little bit more green because now looking back on it, like I would do things differently, but it's crazy. Like you wake up, you do cardio every single day. You're not drinking, you're eating like a small amount of food, going to the gym 6 days a week. I think I took off one day. And, like it's very restrictive, but then you get into like this crazy mindset. Like it is just so good. And that's probably when I felt my best. So I definitely want to try to get there again.
Right. But it's not something you can maintain or sustain all the time, right? No. Did you have a coach that you were working with?
Yes, I had a couple coaches that I tried. And then I found one that I really, really liked, but they were in the States. So again, I want someone in Canada. So now I found someone that I like again. But yeah, I was working with some coaches and posing and doing all the things. So yeah, it was crazy.
Cool. Yeah. No, I recently had, I'm just referencing old guests again, but just recently had Nate Atkin on, and he is a beast.
Yeah. And I saw him at Query's event.
Yeah. That's where I saw him too.
Okay.
He presented there, and I was like,
and he does bodybuilding.
He used to compete, him and his wife. Not competing anymore, but still like in fantastic shape.
Yeah. It's, you can't maintain like stage leanness, but it comes with the whole mentality as well, which is pretty cool. So, sorry, I had something that's gone now, but, no, I appreciate like the dedication, the commitment to going into something like that. And I've always thought about competing and never actually gone that direction. But yeah, it seems like I feel like I could, but it's feeling like you could and doing it are very different things. Yeah. Actually doing it. No, it's insane. But it like, I need that right now. Like it's been maybe a tough year. So I feel like I need like something again to spark my like motivation, and that helps. So yeah.
And so what are your goals? What are your plans for real estate now moving forward into 2024?
Investment property. Top.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that's a big goal of mine. Bodybuilding competition, another big goal of mine. Cool. And then I have future goals, like I was talking before off camera, just about building a team, a small, powerful team. But I do want something like all encompassing as well. Like I would love to have like people in house, like a mortgage agent, lawyer. Sometimes I hate handing those things off and then I don't know what's happening because I'm a control freak.
Right.
So that would be great. And then also I would love to create a scholarship for teen moms. So my mom had me at 16. Okay. So we actually volunteer together every Friday at Shifra Homes. It's like a teen mom shelter.
So you do work together, just not in real estate.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we do that. And then I give a cut of my commissions to Shifra Homes as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and then eventually I would like to create a scholarship, but I just don't know how to go about that yet, but eventually.
Interesting. That's good. That's good to know. And so how long have you been involved with that?
Like about 6 months now. So like just volunteering.
Yeah.
And then recently I talked to them about the scholarship thing, and it's like a huge workaround. So I just have to kind of build that out. I don't really know what it looks like yet. And then, just giving a cut of my commissions to them. And yeah, it's pretty cool. They just bought a new house. They have 2 homes right now. And they rent it out to these girls, and they stay there until they have their baby until about 6 months, and then they have to leave. So it's crazy. Like it's
and these are obviously like girls without any other support system. So this is,
and Nancy, the one who owns it, like she's amazing, and she does help them like with some like monetary support, like for a year once they've left, but like they're kind of on their own, and there's not a lot of funding or help. So a ton of people donate things, but then it's just kind of sad to see them go after 6 months with like their newborn baby, and then they're left.
And is there any aftercare once they leave?
So yeah, she does help them for like a year, and then of course they always come back to the house. They grab donations. They're always there. Like they're always helping them, but the more help, the better kind of thing.
What's it called?
Shifra Homes. SHIFRA.
We can put a link in the bio in the description for it.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year, now is the time to be helping out new families like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's cool. It's cool to be a part of. They just got their third house, so they've had 2. Now we have 3, which is great because then they can take in more girls. So it's good.
Yeah. Can you talk at all to being like a female in the real estate industry? Is there any?
There's nothing like I would say that's bad. There's nothing I would say is bad at all. I think it's a male dominated industry, but I like competing with everybody.
Yeah. There's some powerhouse women though in the industry. So I don't even, it's probably has for sure been traditionally male dominated, but there are some like just killer women out there that have massive teams and stuff. Yeah. And I went to, Tom, the Agent Confidential, Tom and Emma had put on an event about a month ago. And just some of the women there are just like, it's crazy the stuff they've accomplished. So I don't think it necessarily is like I'm intimidated by them, you know, and it's like just by them as people, as business owners, as realtors. So I just didn't know if there was going to be any, just because you seem to be very, you know, grounded in having a women only podcast and whatnot. So I didn't know if it was, if you'd had any experience in terms of the industry feeling like it's too male dominated or anything like that.
No. And I also that's why I said like, no shame. Like I just wanted to focus on a niche, and I'm also like counter my own generation. Like I feel like right now there's too much cancel culture and all these things. Yeah. And I'm not like that. So I'm not going to say things that aren't true. Like I've always felt included. I've never felt like overly intimidated by whatever. Like it's not the case. Everyone's been pretty nice, open, inclusive. So
right. And in terms of cancel culture, it's like it seems to, you know, have gone way too far one way, swinging far the other way now. It's gotten ridiculous, really.
It's not my thing at all. And I'm so not my generation. I'm like, no, it's too much.
Yeah. So Tresa, going to be a few changes. Have you kind of looked into the changes? Are you familiar with them?
Not super familiar yet, but just looked into them recently. I need to watch a webinar about it, but because I was watching one, I got kicked out. It's a whole thing, but out of Zoom. But anyway, just
you didn't physically get kicked out.
No, I didn't get kicked out like on my own accord. I had to specify. But no, Tresa, I don't know. The only thing is like signing of BRAs. Like I don't know if that's going to be required now. And then there's like an information package that you have to get them to sign off on. So it's just, I think it'll be fine. I think it's actually good. It's just it's just going to be a learning curve.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big learning curve, especially I feel like not everybody is necessarily taking the time to learn it, and it's, you know, in effect tomorrow. So, but I was, in terms of having a BRA, like, so you're not, at this point, there's no customer, right?
Yes, there's no customer.
And so to have a BRA, a buyer representation agreement, if you're not familiar, you are not allowed, my understanding is you're not allowed to give any advice before you have that signed.
Oh, okay.
So it becomes a challenge where, or even for a seller, right? Say if a seller is like, should I, have open bidding, because now open bidding is going to be allowed by choice of the seller. So for them to ask, should I do this? Should I do it this way? If I do, what information should I make allowable to know for everybody? Not the proper way to say it, but you understand what I'm saying? And as a realtor, you're not going to be allowed to give them any advice until they sign an agreement. So there's that weird kind of like,
I wonder if they're going to believe us when we say that, though. You know, they're going to be like,
it's going to be, I think, a lot more paperwork.
Yeah.
Same with a buyer. Like if you want to go show a buyer a house, you are going to have to get them to sign that representation agreement for that one house, even just so you can go there, show them the house, be able to provide them some advice. Yeah. So,
it's good, and it could be.
I get it. Especially in the wake of what happened in the US, that whole thing, and this even, it almost feels like they knew something was was coming that way, and they put this together. But I think it's all done with purpose, with good intention. But we'll see. I think it's going to create some confusion to begin with, but.
It's going to be a learning curve for us, and then it's going to be something else for like our clients to now adjust to. So
yeah, because most people are already not like clear on it completely, and now that we're not that clear, explaining it to them, it's going to be. And
people don't like signing things, off the bat or before meeting you or whatever, which I understand. So, but I think it is good in the long run, and that's true. You could just get the BRA for that one address instead of whatever indefinitely. But
just going to create more paperwork.
Yeah,
but we love that.
We love that.
It'll be interesting. But in terms of your future, you want to build a team, all that stuff, getting business now and moving forward. We talked a little bit off camera about creating ads, lead flow. Like what does that look like for you?
Okay, so lead flow, I definitely want to get more into ads. I played around with more things like at the beginning of the year, but I always have 4 pillars of how I'm getting leads. And then if one gets wiggly, you can always switch it out. Right now, I believe mine is my own brokerage, face-to-face interactions, promoting stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and then referrals. So those are kind of my 4, but I would love to play around more with Facebook ads, Google ads. I want to try PPC. I've done Facebook ads. And then next year I'm going to get a lot bigger with social media too. So
well, I was about to say you didn't mention content creation in there, which you do. So and that's definitely a pillar.
I guess it is.
For sure it is.
Like, it is. I just don't like, sometimes it's hard to measure like, 6 pieces of content equals 1 person, so.
Well, it's like, I know you're right in that, but
I don't know if it's like, if it's top of mind or if it's actually a pillar, but
I would say it's a pillar for sure. Yeah. It's not something that necessarily is going to generate immediate response. It can. But like if you go door knocking, you might knock 100, 200, 300 doors and not get anywhere. I mean, but the thing, it's like anything. The longer you stick with it, if you trust the process, you'll get results. Yeah. And so a lot of realtors who, just say, I don't have any leads. I mean, probably because you're not taking that action to do it, right?
Totally.
I mean, it sucks. Nobody wants to go door knock, or very few people enjoy that, but it will work if you, and there was a guy sitting at our table at Corey's event, and he was talking about how he went door knocking once and he actually got a lead. I don't know what happened with it. I don't know if he knew how to handle it. And he was like, I don't know if door knocking is going to work. And I was like, you just proved to yourself that it did if you stick with it. Right.
Yeah. I hate door knocking.
Yeah. No,
but yes, I understand what you're saying. You stick with something. Yes.
Yeah. Content's the same, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
It might be a bit of a longer game, but
yeah, I do like content. And I was just a random thought, just ads and stuff is kind of like pouring gas. This is from Alex Hermosi. This isn't me. I love Hermosi. It's like pouring gasoline on something. So like if what you're doing doesn't already work and then now you're putting out ads, it's kind of like, why are you doing that? Like, I think if you have a good social media, you have your ads and they can come and find you on social media, like it all connects. Yeah. But if you're doing ads and it connects to a Facebook page with nothing there, they're going to be like,
for sure,
what the hell?
Yeah. 100%.
It kind of goes hand in hand, but yeah, social media I'll be bigger on next year. Cause I have ideas.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, it probably comes from your experience, in service and the like, and, you're very natural on camera. And so you've done a lot of content, so you seem very comfortable with it. So yeah, I mean, I always think my advice is always to like, just keep doing it, double down. A lot of people are not comfortable getting on camera. So that's a bigger hurdle to get over, but you don't have a problem with it.
I did, but if you like my YouTube channel, it grew to like 3,000 subscribers. So it was monetized when I was doing personal training, but that took 6 years. And then in those older videos, I'm like so shy. So it does take time. Like no matter what you do, please get on camera. Like now I see like some realtors post, a realtor I'm helping out now, but it's just Canva pictures. And it's like, nobody is going to connect to that. Like, I don't know. I like video for sure. That's just the way we're heading. So
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, this is part of what we do at Keep Me Posted and Capture Connections is we approach business owners that have profiles exactly like that. Like we can see that there's the desire to get out there, to create some social, you're creating it. You're just not creating it well. Yeah. It's not resonating with people and you're obviously probably not seeing results off of it. But the second you start doing video, it changes things.
Yeah. I've gotten more responses, from like realtors than clients right now. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of change my niche, but yeah, because I think realtors reach out to me like about systems and things like that. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, I've toyed with this podcast is making it just about real estate, it's going to be a bunch of realtors watching it, and that's cool. Love you guys. But I also want to be able to reach potential clients, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lawyer on our next one. And so we're going to be able to talk about, the lawyer's role in a real estate transaction where a buyer, first time home buyer, whatever it might be, can get their questions answered about, I know I need a lawyer, or I've heard I need a lawyer, but like, what do they do? At what point do they need to come in? All that stuff. So anyways, all that to say is I want to create content for end users as well, not strictly realtors.
Yes, that's why I bring on investors.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend and they just do realtors, and I'm like, your audience is going to be realtors. And
for sure. And, for like, Matt Campoli, his Price to Sell podcast, like their podcast is amazing, but it's like, it's all realtors that watch it. I think it's content for realtors by design. But there are, so those already exist, right? I want to be able to reach people who aren't realtors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm another realtor. But
Well, and it's going to happen. And so speaking of which, what would your advice be to new realtors starting out going into 2024?
This is kind of it's starting in 2020 or starting in 2024.
Well, starting now. Yeah. You're not going to do much business before 2024 comes. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Don't give up. That's always my advice. But systems, I don't know. I love systems. I'm so sorry, but really understand your systems, get your database together. I would say have your 4 pillars at least, and then, organize your database into those pillars as well as into drip campaigns and all this other stuff. Sorry. But systems, number 1, pillars, and then don't give up, because like, even like I've gone through so many hard times, but I'm like, the first 2-3 years are like probably the shittiest, and then
if you make it through
and then from there, don't give up. Then that's like, you've gone through the hardest part, so now continue to go. So I would say don't give up, and then just organize yourself, please,
for sure,
for the love of God.
No, it's very true. So many people get through, they make that short-term commitment, they put in all the hard work only to give up right before they would break through.
You're going to break through. Yeah. That's what I don't get. You have that momentum going. Cause I definitely thought about it like, okay, I'm done with this. Like I've been there, so I understand, but it's like, you're already through the hard part. Like the breakthrough is coming. At least I hope so. That's what I have to tell myself. So
yeah. For myself, I knew getting in that I was in it for the long haul. I didn't, cause there was a lot of, we are part of that group that came in during the height of things, and a lot of people I think came in, I can make some quick money. This is what real estate's like. Real estate's going to be like this. I knew full well that wasn't going to be the case forever, and came in with a long time horizon. So, I'm willing to weather and this isn't even like, it's actually fairly quiet right now, but that wasn't normal what was happening then.
Exactly. It wasn't normal. I don't know why we're reflecting on those times, but it wasn't normal. But I was thinking long-term, but I came in and I was like, this is so easy. Yeah. And then this year, so if you're new coming into 2024, I would say you need to develop skills now, basically. Things aren't going to fall into your lap, unfortunately. But
So mentorship, getting around other people who are doing what you want to do in business, taking courses but be careful with the courses, because everyone offers a course right now.
Be careful with the courses. I've
linked to my course in the description.
I've fallen into that trap. But be careful with the courses. But no, it's true. Right now, just developing skills and you'll get through it. But what do you think? Like 12, 24 months before?
Before what?
Before we see that. But the thing is too, I don't understand, because people want the interest rates to go back down, but then it was like, that's crazy.
And that's a huge disconnect. And that's where the education comes in, and where the video comes in as well, is because, you talk to people all the time, they're waiting for interest rates to come down to buy.
And we saw.
But interest rates come down, prices go up. That's, now is a great, I know.
Yeah.
Realtors, now is the best time to buy. But now's a good time to buy if is the big if.
Yeah.
If you can afford payments now.
Yeah.
Once they go down in 6 months, we'll start to maybe see them go down. Again, don't hold me to it, but you'll have extra breathing room at that point. So, there's an opportunity for people right now, especially in the condo market with investors selling off like crazy. you know, there's room for negotiation.
Yeah. And conditions, woohoo, conditions.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I understand. Actually, I don't understand why people are waiting, but yeah, there's pros and cons to both markets, but that market was more of a seller's market. So the hot market.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's that disconnect. People had FOMO and needed to get in because everyone's buying, but it's like Warren Buffett says, you know, do the opposite of what's happening. That's definitely not the quote, but you know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Rest in peace to Charlie Munger. But yeah, so it's interesting. We'll have to see. It's a lot of education, I think, for people is because, especially, you know, even people who are just, let me wait till January. That's what everyone's doing. You know, if we have a strategy session now, you'll be in December, you'll be ahead of the curve. You won't be like you won't be calling up mortgage brokers being like, I need approval right now. And they'll be like, okay, give me 3 weeks. You know, do it now. Yeah. And you'll be ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Totally. And then you're locked in for 4 months. Woohoo.
Yeah. 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 And you know, at this point, who knows when rates will go down? We'll have to see, but I don't think they're going to go rushing down like they rushed up. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Any last words?
My last word is stay organized. I've been on the listing side.
Stay organized.
Stay organized. Don't give up. Yeah. But I've been on the listing side before and I've seen some horrible things. It's not hard to stand out in this industry. Right. If you just have attention to detail and stay organized. That's all. That's
very true. Very true. Yeah. No, that's huge. I love that. We will link all your stuff below. Cashflow Queens podcast links. Toronto, Team Toronto, all that stuff. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Right. Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Little Did You Know podcast. My name is Morgan Little. Big shout out to Alex for joining us today. That was much easier than the intro. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. All links in description below. Let's get it.